Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us on Cool FM Live for our Cochise County Sports Show. I'm Dave Davies. Walking into the shot is Paul Corder, and I have bad news for you, friends. I am in a good mood today.
Oh, God.
Until we get to a diatribe, anyways. So, Paul, how we doing today?
Pretty good, Dave. Glad to be here, as always, at the Sierra Vista Golf Center at Pueblo Del Sol. They are getting busy, Dave. Who'd have thought people want to play one of the best golf courses in southern Arizona?
Well, when it's 75 degrees outside, and perfect, baby. Yes, thank you so much. Right now, they are running all kinds of specials. One of those specials being $29 rounds for active duty military or first responders. So you can come down here and play for, well, virtually nothing. Go to Phoenix and try to play a round of golf. I bet you it costs you $150. I'll bet you it does.
At the bad courses.
At the bad courses, yeah. So you get a premier championship course over here. $29 for first responders and active duty military. And there's a lot of you in Cochise County. I know that.
I'll tell you. Whatever they're doing is working because there's a vibe around here nowadays. Also,
there is.
Thank you to Synergy HomeCare of Sierra Vista. When you need to find care for someone you love, it's important it feels right. Synergy provides non-medical home care for people that struggle with activities of daily living. Call them today at 520-685-1035. Something that a lot of people don't know, Dave, is if you do take care of a loved one out of the goodness of your heart, you can get paid for that. So go ahead and call Synergy today and ask how you can have that happen.
And unfortunately, somebody cleared out their car and forgot to sign today. But this is also brought to you by Texas Roadhouse. Roadhouse! We had Kids Night last night. Every Monday night is Kids Night at Texas Roadhouse. It is highly successful. Kimberly's doing a great job. Last night was Jurassic Park night. Next Monday night will be Superhero night. So come into Texas Roadhouse. I'm working the next couple days. Come in there and have the best meal in town. Come hang out with your boy.
All right, then, folks, we're going to do a couple different things here. First, before we get into the show.
You said vibes, baby. We got some vibes going.
Before we get into the show, I'm remiss because last week I forgot our offensive and defensive players of the week. And I just want to give a shout-out to Nash Moore, who threw for 6 touchdowns, and Caleb Cook was our defensive player of the week for Wilcox Cowboys.
Score. That's right.
But those weren't the only two that went off. You know, it's very difficult to get everyone in here. Shout out to Scrappy, Jaden Thomas, Sebastian Lopez, Bryson Meyer, Cedar Haney, Landon Ward, Joe Sanchez, Dawson Judd, and Flint Davis, who are in contenders for Offensive Player of the Week. And then, as always, Top Pacheco, Fabian Hernandez, Christian Teeters, Jemiah Wallace. Jemiah Wallace actually had a sack and a pick in that game. Keston Richardson, Spencer Anthony, Sebastian Lopez, Harley Van Warmer, and Charlie Price, who could have also won Defensive Player of the Week last week.
Well, I'm sure they could have all probably won it this week, too. Well,
Absolutely.
we know who the Offensive Player of the Week is this week, but we'll get to that.
There's going to be 2. I'm going to let everyone know there's going to be. It's getting hard to choose one nowadays.
I'm not
it doesn't even matter. It's not going to be anyone you expect. You can guess for days and days and days.
Like, we were at the game. We know exactly.
Ryan Russell, how you doing? Good to see you. Everyone, get ready because we said we're going to switch some things up. Yes, we will do our high school recap. Yes, we're going to do Paul's Power Rankings. We're going to have our Offensive and Defensive Player of the Weeks. We're going to let you know the official AIA rankings that were just released. But first, we're going to go ahead and try to give something away here, Dave.
Yes. So, by the way, we do this during baseball season, and the one big thing that I'm going to tell you is no cheating with the internet. If you cheat with the internet, you're a bad person. You know you did it, okay? So during baseball season, I do trivia questions during baseball games, but today we're going to make it a little more special. We have hats here from the Sierra Vista Golf Center at Pueblo Del Sol.
You might have saw them last week.
We're going to be giving away a show, okay? So I'm going to put this beautiful hat right here in the middle of the table. And the first person that jumps in that chat without using the internet and cheating to tell me the last Chicago Bear quarterback to take them to the playoffs.
That one's pretty. That's a great question. If you know football, you know it.
If you know it, you know it. If you don't know, you're going to be like, wait a minute. Who was the last quarterback to take the Bears to the playoffs? So
Ryan Russell says, let me get my Google ready. And Katie McDonald says, let's go. Good morning. And Gerald Morgan in the chat says, hi, Dave. Gerald, why do you hate me?
Yeah, right. You know, I have a co-broadcaster.
What is going on here?
I know I'm the pretty one, but, you know.
Jeez Louise. Anyway, let's get started without further ado. First one in the chat to answer that question gets that super dope Sierra Vista Golf Center hat. Stay tuned, folks. This might not be the only thing we give away this season, with all the swag that they got coming.
Oh, yeah, I'd say now that we have all these, we're going to be doing this. But, yes, today, who's the last Chicago Bear quarterback to take them to the playoffs? You win that hat. And don't cheat. If you cheat, you're a bad person, okay? I'll give you the hat. Just don't cheat.
Well, Dave, let's get into the high school football right now. We did have a couple buys. We'll start with the team that was on the bye, the Buena Colts, who currently sit at 5-1, 1-0 in their sections. Great win at Casa Grande as well. They're at home, homecoming this week, I'm pretty sure, against Desert View before their season is on the line against Morena, who is the number 1 team in 5A football. The Buena Colts currently sit at number 9, so just a few spots out of hosting a playoff game.
I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to talk about all the teams, but Sierra Vista, Arizona right now, there is a vibe. There is a buzz going in Sierra Vista, Arizona, because we are, like you said, Buena has their victim this week, and then next week is Morena. And all of Sierra Vista right now is vibing, and we are ready. We want Morena. We're ready. We're ready for this whole thing. There is this thing going on right now in all of Cochise County, in Wilcox, in Bisbee, in Sierra Vista, Arizona. There is a buzz right now because football is hot.
Oh, yeah, this is not like last year. All these kids grew up, and boy, did they grow up and grow smarter. Gerald Morgan in the chat says Jim McMahon. That is incorrect.
That is not the correct answer. That is an answer.
That is an answer for sure.
He did lead them to the playoffs. Actually, matter of fact, you know they only went to the playoffs 3 times with that team? 84, 85, 86? They only went 3 times with that team.
Oh, yeah. Well, McMahon was hurt all the time.
Yeah. Well, after 86, it was over.
And he wasn't that great to begin with, but he was hurt all the time. He was a leader.
That was a good guess, though. It was a good guess.
Now, Ryan Russell, I mean, like, for real, if you guys don't know it, I'm going to go ahead and anti-Dave this one. Just look it up. Who cares?
No, don't look it up.
Katie McDonald, because Brian Russell said, can I phone a friend? And Katie McDonald said, is your friend named Google?
No cheating.
So the second team that was on a bye are the Marine Academy Eagles, currently sitting at 3-2, 0-2 in sections. They look to turn that around against Imagine Prep Superstition this week. I believe that is the Thursday game. So that's 2 weeks off for Marine Academy that they got in the middle of the season. We know Coach Champton, Imagine Prep Superstition, when a good coach has 2 weeks to prepare for you, that's going to be a W.
Yep.
And so Marine trying to get into that postseason picture. Remember, we say it every time with Marine, they went from the first division all the way up to the championship division.
Yeah. No, Marina, you said 2 weeks of a bye. They're going to come out on fire on Thursday. We will have somebody at that game over there. I have my grandkids, so it won't be me. But we will have somebody at that game over there. By the way, shout out to the Sierra Vista Colts 12 and under team. We were at that game on Saturday, and playoff game, Sierra Vista Colts gave them a beating. Tucson Seminoles go back to where you came from.
Benson Bobcats actually won as well. I told you.
Did they win that game?
I told you I'd get it. I follow all of your sports pages, folks. So if you got something to say, you can drop it in there. Trust me, we'll talk about it. Yes, Katie McDonald, you can Snapchat your son. You can do anything you want. So anyway,
you can phone a friend, but they can't cheat either.
It is a very nice hat, and someone needs to win it for sure.
I picked the best one to give away first, just so you know.
So going back to the Canyon Athletic now, we're going to go against ALA of Sierra Vista, 3-2 now. I believe that's a 3-game winning streak for them, or 2-game winning streak. They're 3-2 in sections. They won against Paradise Valley 34-26. They have a bye this week, and then they're going all the way to Yuma to take on Harvest Prep.
Oh, what a drive. Oh, I hate that drive to Yuma.
I don't understand. So
I don't get it. That's like a 4-hour drive.
Why? Like you played high school sports in California, and I believe Washington as well.
No, just California.
I played in Kansas City, Missouri, which is a city, unless you include the greater metropolitan, the only Kansas City is 400,000 people. Our longest trip was an hour. And it was one time a year.
It was an hour.
And it was one time.
The longest we ever drove. We drive into L.A. to play like boys clubs and stuff, an hour away. That was it. Like, I never drove more than an hour. Driving to Yuma to play a football game is insane.
Dave Davies, say the question one more time.
The question
by
is,
Katie McDonald in our
The
chat.
question is, who is the last Chicago Bears quarterback to take them to the playoffs? Not win a game, just take them to the playoffs.
I had
somebody who's very near and dear to my heart, I might add.
Might have won a Nickelodeon award or something. Who knows? Anyway,
I love that guy.
We'll get over to the 1A and the ALA official Arizona Conference. The Valley Union Blue Devils won last week against Duncan 57-14. 5-2 on the season, 5-1 in sections. They play Superior at home for their very last game of the season. Here we go. And that 57-14 victory, good enough to drop the Valley Union Blue Devils from number 11 in the AIA rankings to number 12.
We were talking about before we pushed live on that button over there. You win a game and you drop a spot. You win a game by 40 points and you drop a spot. Sure,
5-1.
Sure.
5-1 in sections. Their only section loss to the St. David Tigers.
And they're losses to the GOAT.
Yeah, they've lost to two great teams.
Yeah.
And we were there for the first one when they should have won it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. There, yep.
But either
Boy,
way.
it's a long season. You're right. That was the first game of the year.
Yeah, man. That was great. It was great. It was great to be at Valley Union. We had so much trouble trying to get out there last year, and they just welcomed us with open arms.
I was talking about buzz. I had a gentleman from St. David in the Roadhouse last night.
Roadhouse?
And there's a buzz in St. David, Arizona now. That big one's coming up this week. Buzz. There's a buzz.
So the St. David Tigers, great transition, Dave. You're the best. 7-1 on the season, 6-0. They do have their last game against Desert Christian.
Woo!
You're talking about number 5 against, I believe it was number 2 in the AIA rankings officially, and they actually host that game. So if you are in St. David, Arizona, if you're in Benson, Arizona, go support the St. David Tigers as they warm up for postseason play. They did just come off a win against Fort Thomas, 50-6. Surprise, surprise.
Well, it's and. God, we talk about this all the time. I wish there was more than one of us each, because we had choices this week. St. David, I know you're watching. We love you so much, and we're going to explain why we're not going to be there on Friday. It's my fault, by the way. This guy almost punched me because he wants to go to St. David so bad on Friday. But unfortunately,
still might. We might split the band up. You never know.
We might go full Beatles on. I'm John Lennon, by the way. He's Paul McCartney.
Katie McDonald says it's homecoming too, by the way. Oh, my good Lord, the St. David Tigers. Wow.
You're breaking my heart right now. I can guarantee you this. Even if the big guy doesn't show up, we will have a team out there to St. David this week. 100% your game will be covered. It might not be the Paul and Dave show, but you will be covered. I promise you.
Well said.
May I tell them why?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Absolutely. We're good. Yeah, but definitely someone's going to be out to St. David. I mean, there's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of reasons why. But here we go. Let's go to the St. David Power Hour, which actually is only about a half hour this week because they got their young kids into play.
Oh, yeah. It was such a drubbing that the JV kids were out there.
Vincent, well, it always is. That's why it makes it so interesting that they get so many stats. But Vincent Cicariello had 11 of 15 quarterbacking, 163 yards and 2 touchdowns, standard operating procedure for that young man.
How'd he miss the 4?
Cedar Haney ran the ball for 2 touchdowns. We had Caitlin Patton, Grayson Merrill, Luke Haymore, and Top Pacheco. Boom. Each getting a touchdown in this ball game. Luke Haymore with 2 recorded pancakes and Top Pacheco with 4. Well, I swear, man, Top Pacheco, he might be making a run at Cochise County Player of the Year, and there's some good ones. That's a distinction that was held by Sebastian Lopez last year, and Nash Moore, who's probably the best quarterback in 5A this year. But anyway, Katie McDonald back in the chat says, I believe.
Landon Ward.
Okay. Didn't need to stop. My bad. As a team, the St. David Tigers had 25 tackles for losses. So in a game, you typically run about 50 to 60 plays. So half of them, the St. David Tigers were in the backfield making plays. You know who led that charge? Top Pacheco. 14 tackles, 8 in the backfield, and 5 sacks for Top Pacheco. I tell you, dude, I think we were in Benson after the Benson game. We saw St. David, and they came in 8, and I was like, because they were telling me how big he was.
Their only loss, yeah.
He was, as a freshman, the kid was 200 plus pounds. And I'm seeing the biggest kid. I'm like, that's Top Pacheco for sure. Didn't want to interrupt their meals, but we saw you kids.
We have 3 different hats on this table that could potentially bring us a state title. A state title in football. One of them being
Ryan Russell says, once you pop, you can't stop. Top. The first quarterback, yes, Gerald Morgan, to win a playoff game or a Super Bowl for the Bears was Jim McMahon. We were looking for the last quarterback that led the team to the playoffs.
That's correct.
And Katie McDonald says it's all muscle too. So who I saw was Top Pacheco for sure. For sure. Isaac, I was looking for him.
Anytime you see a high school kid that scares you to death, you know?
Sophomore. Anyway.
That's like when we met Fabian when he was a freshman. We're like, why are you 6'3"? Like, why are you so big?
Isaac Wilson contributed 4 tackles in the backfield with 2.5 sacks. Keston Richardson had 3 tackles, a sack, a fumble recovery. Luke Haymore Roman Tilton also had sacks in this ball game, 3 tackles for losses, and Luke Haymore actually contributed 2 interceptions on the game as well. Congratulations to the St. David Tigers. Trust me, we are going to be watching very closely about how you perform against Desert Christian.
Honestly, it is the game of the year. Like you said, if you're in Benson, if you're in St. David, get out there and watch some live football, because St. David is, if they're not the best, they're taking on the best. And it is going. Whoever wins that game is going to win state.
They're getting a lot of St. David love here. Amber Ray Hawkes. That name sounds a little familiar, right?
I've heard that name before.
A couple of Hawkeses might be in the Hawkes family dynasty for greatest athletes in all of Arizona. But, yeah, says love to hear great things about the small town of St. David. Absolutely. Well, we always say St. David is a small town that does big things athletically.
Again, it's a factory. It is an absolute factory, and you'll be seeing a lot of the Paul and Dave show for basketball season, I promise you. We would be there on Friday, okay?
And Katie McDonald, it is not L. Smith. It's actually easier than you think.
Yeah.
You got to go back to recent history. Just think about all the terrible quarterbacks the Bears have had. What a question. He
wasn't terrible. He was great.
What a question.
He was great.
What a question from Dave Davies. So, yeah, the St. David Tigers, I don't think I mentioned in the outset, currently ranked number 5 in Arizona. Remember, it's just top 12 teams for 1A.
The Buffalo Bills, the Baltimore Ravens,
the Buena Colts, according to me.
The Buena Colts.
But, yeah, so that's going to do it for our 1A and 5A coverage. I do have exciting news. The Douglas Bulldogs are now on a 3-game winning streak.
Because they're never going to win again.
After Dave said their season was cooked. Amber is a proud aunt of all those Hawkesses girls, for sure. And the nicest people.
You were fun.
And Anissa Hawkes, Evelyn Hawkes, Camber Hawkes, all of them, just very sweet girls, too, and gave us the time of day when they didn't know who we were.
Superstar, Anissa Hawkes. Yes, the Douglas Bulldogs, you're never going to win again. You guys might as well just quit playing football. Like, you're wasting your time.
Hey, it's working, too. They jumped up in the rankings. That's why I wanted to go to Douglas. We actually had stats. The unfortunate thing is I put them on the corner because I didn't think they would have stats, but I got it in there. Trust me on that.
First time this year. Let's do this. How did my boy do? How did Wera do?
CC Cook in the chat says, way to go, Caleb, Defensive Player of the Week. Shout out CC and the Wilcox Quarterback Club. The Douglas Bulldogs had beat Chola, which is another game we were going to go to if we couldn't get to Tinker Verde last week, 50-14, and now they're at Rio Rico again, undefeated in sections. Had a tough start to the season, same as last year, but now a team that always gets better as the season goes on. The Douglas Bulldogs.
They might as well just pack it in. It's over
after.
How'd my boy do? How did Aguera do?
After that win, the Douglas Bulldogs jumped from 30 to 28. Ivan Aguera threw 8 of 19 for 115 yards and 2 touchdowns. Ran the ball for 86 yards and a touchdown, over 200 yards.
There it is.
Ryan Russell got it. Ryan Russell, if you want to come down to the Sierra Vista Golf Center.
He cheated. I know he cheated. I know the man.
He said his phone a friend, and I believe him. Mitchell Trubisky.
It's the Bitsky. It was the Bitsky.
The Ryan Russell wins our first ever giveaway on this show. Ryan, I know you live around the corner. I mean, you know we're going to be here for a few minutes. Oh, actually, we just got done with the St. David Power Hour, so who knows?
Oh, yeah, no, it could be quick, yeah. But, yes, it was the Bitsky. And it wasn't for double doinking over there. The Bitsky would have won that game.
Jason Hurtado, a person we mention a lot, he does have a younger brother than Justin Hurtado. Ryan, if you're going to be at the Urban Act Show tonight, we'll be there for you, too. We can give it to you then. Jason Hurtado ran 72 yards and 3 touchdowns in this game. Jose Ocono.
Let me put this beautiful hat away for the rock and roller.
And Davian Fembrez each contributed a touchdown in this one. Kenny Nelson and Omar Valkin, what a name that is, had a sack in this one. And Rogelio Ramirez also contributed a sack in this ball game. So congratulations to the Douglas Bulldogs. I waited as long as I could to put these stats in last night at midnight, and they got them to me.
Thank you.
So.
First time all year. We got some Bulldog stats. It doesn't matter because they're not going to win another game. So it
congratulations
really matter.
to the boys. Oh, I can't wait for baseball season. Douglas and Bisbee, they got those old stadiums that just have character.
Yes.
Man. I love it.
We missing Gustavo Gomez.
No kidding, right? Gustavo. All right, that's going to take us to our 2A team, where most of our teams reside in Cochise County.
The game that we were at.
Let's do the game that we were at, says Dave Davies. Why
Landon
not? The Wilcox Cowboys improved to 4-3 after their 41-20 drubbing, and it wasn't even that close.
Wasn't that
to
close
Tinker
at all.
Verde. They moved to 3-1 in sections, and this week they are home against Pueblo Verde. The Wilcox Cowboys, with one big game left on their schedule, the Benson Bobcats,
we will be
prime position to control their own destiny. The only team that really does control their own destiny, the Bisbee Pumas. We'll get to them later. After that victory, this is the craziest jump I've ever seen. The Wilcox Cowboys go from 22 and well out of postseason play to 11th and almost in the running to hosting, I don't know what the playing games are, but hosting a play-in/playoff game.
You know, and again, I don't think anybody from there watches the show, so it's fine. Tinker Verde, they're like top 5 preseason, blah, 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 blah. Wilcox went in there and smacked them.
J.P. Wildman had Tinker Verde up there, and J.P. Wildman's got the best knowledge that I've ever seen of Southern Arizona football.
Wilcox smacked them, and it wasn't even close. Like, that was an absolute drubbing. Landon Ward, Ishmael Cuevas, my goodness, 19 tackles?
I wish this wasn't a kid show sometimes. I mean, I'd be bleeping everything, but I swear.
Ishmael Cuevas, my goodness. Caleb Cook. I mean,
sophomore.
Every week with Caleb Cook?
He won Defensive Player of the Week last week, and was it the week before? Was that the Bisbee World Cup?
He wanted that touchdown so bad. He picked up that fumble. He wanted it so bad.
64-yard return. But let's get into these stats. As Landon Morris Teeters in the chat says, Wilcox Cowboys. Heck yeah, Wilcox Cowboys.
Yeah, we were there. We seen it.
Smooth. Thank goodness the AD from Tinker Verde was. We just walked in and they said,
yeah. They're like, how'd you do it? Like, we just walked in.
But I think we did meet him after the fact, and I think, he's a little more warmed up to us, so maybe we won't have any problems going up to Tinker Verde anymore. Either which way, Joe Sanchez, smooth Sanchez, 3 of 4 in this ballgame with 63 yards. I honestly cannot remember the incomplete pass, but it is what it is. The Warden, Landon Ward, 14 carries, 179 yards, and 4 touchdowns. But wait, there's more. Landon Ward also took a 90-yard kickoff return back to the house. And, Dave, this is your favorite story that I tell. Because Tinker Verde just got back in the ballgame. I'm like, yeah, as long as they don't kick it.
Oh,
go ahead, sorry.
So, for those of you who didn't watch the game, you couldn't have timed it any better. Tinker Verde scores their second touchdown. We have a 7-point game. We have a football game at Tucson, Arizona. And my co-broadcaster is like, that's great. Now, as long as you don't kick it at number 20, oh, my God. Man, he's gone. And the moment the kid picks up the ball, by the way, my call of the year, I will say. The cowboy that can't be caught, Landon Ward.
That's a good one. I didn't even hear that.
Oh, yeah. I was like, you better corral him, the cowboy that can't be caught, and he's gone.
I just had I was just shaking my head like, this kid. At some point, you're just like, this kid is special, dude.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So, obviously, just about 300 yards of total offense, or total yards for Landon Ward. Ishmael Cuevas got in there, the power back for the Wilcox Cowboys, 9 carries, 77 yards, and a touchdown. We'll talk about him a little bit later. No, we're talking about him now as we switch over to the defensive stats for the Wilcox Cowboys.
19 tackles for Ishmael Cuevas.
Ishmael Cuevas led the team with 19 tackles in a ball game. That is
like you said, you talk about how many possessions there are already football game, 30 to 40 possessions. So every other possession, Ishmael, every other play, Ishmael Cuevas was the one making the tackle.
It was just absolutely crazy. Landon Ward also contributed 11 tackles defensively. Surprise, surprise. Osvaldo Rodriguez had a tackle for loss, and that's – oh, wait, no. We have another kid to shout out here. The chef, he's got all the ingredients. Caleb Cook, 10 tackles and an interception from the sophomore.
That was a sexy interception, too. That's right. Leaping across the middle of the field. That's right.
Yeah, it was Crystal Ward in the chat says, so proud of my boy, and Ryan Russell's taken back by the stats of the Wilcox Cowboys.
No, it's again, there's a reason why we made sure that we did the Tinker Verde Wilcox game, because we knew what was coming in all the other games. So, what was the Benson score again? They played somebody.
No, so the reason we keep talking about Tinker Verde and how it could be because the only time we've ever been met with any resistance to go to a stadium, Tinker Verde told us literally, if you show up, we're going to tell you to go kick rocks.
Yeah, so the Wilcox people were surprised. They're like, "What are you doing?" And we're like, "We just did it. We don't care."
CC Cook in the chat says, "That's my boy," throwing up the metal sign. I like that. I'm an aggressive music listener too, as well, for sure. Let's go over to the Benson Bobcats as Dave I get to use Dave's segue. 4-3, 3-1. They beat Santa Rita, surprise, 63-0. They have another warm-up game before they take on the Wilcox Cowboys, as this week they are at home against Catalina.
Oh, jeez.
I know.
Again, if you're in this region and you're not from Cochise County, you're terrible. You're terrible at this. That's why we did Wilcox and Tanque Verde, because we knew what was going to happen with Benson and Tombstone and Bisbee.
Okay, stray bullets to Santa Rita again. Well, I guess that's a stray bullet to Catalina.
Palo Verde's a trash can.
They're high school kids, brother, I swear. And big props to Santa Rita for finally getting their varsity program back off the ground. How about that?
Yeah, then I got put back on.
All right, so now we're going to the Benson Bobcat Power Hour. So you might have, it was replaced. It was a team up by Benson, or up by St. David this week. Dawson Judd threw 7 of 10 for 143 yards and 4 touchdowns.
That's 20 yards of completion.
But wait, there's more. Cohen Barney, a freshman, got some action. Surprise, surprise. 2 of 2, 55 yards and a touchdown throwing that football. It's just a factory up there in Benson. Great quarterbacks.
The Santa Rita games, you could really work on some things. So, yeah, we got freshmen out there throwing dimes as well.
Flint Davis ran the ball 4 times for 88 yards. You heard that right. 4 times for 88 yards. We're talking about Techno Super Bowl style. That's what that was. 2 touchdowns. Also contributed a receiving touchdown. Andrew Workman, usually defensive player of the year for the Benson Bobcats, gets in there for 3 carries, 55 yards. You heard that right. 3 carries, 55 yards, and a touchdown. Buchanan Garrett, Buck Garrett. I write him down as Buck Garrett, too.
Why do you keep calling him Buchanan?
Because I like to say people's full names. I don't know. Buck Garrett over there had a touchdown. Jason Santo, 2 touchdowns in this ball game. David Harris, Julian Ramos also contributing to touchdowns. And Benson Bobcats, they learned from the St. David Tigers and Tombstone Yellow Jackets of last year. We got some pancake numbers. Guess who leads? Buck Garrett with 2 pancakes. Case Williams with 2 pancakes. Dylan Spangler with 2 pancake blocks. Matthew Volker had 2 pancake blocks. This is my favorite one. Jason Santo, 1 pancake block. Receiver, sophomore receiver as well, getting down and dirty and doing the dirty work. Crystal Galt in the chat says, go Bobcats. And Ryan Russell says, cake time. For sure. That means a different thing.
We got our eyes on Benson one last time. Next week, we will be at Benson, Arizona, as you host the Wilcox Cowboys. And depending on what happens with this one right here, that might be a very big game.
That same week, that same time, Tombstone and Bisbee play each other.
So everybody in 2A football right now, the Tanque Verde Hawks are coming down to play the Bisbee Pumas this Friday. Wilcox, Tombstone, Benson are... Please, Lord, let Tanque Verde beat the Bisbee Pumas. Because if Tanque Verde beats Bisbee, this whole thing opens up.
Yeah,
this whole thing opens up. That is why we will not be in St. David on Friday. It's been a 3-year journey with my boys. It is the last home game for Sebastian Lopez and company and the seniors for the Bisbee Pumas. They would have to arrest me to keep me out of that stadium. I will be in Bisbee, Arizona on Friday to watch my boys one last time.
All right. He got it out. I knew you were waiting for that from the beginning of the show. Well, it's not, because Ty Herrera also had a pancake block. I forgot. We forgot that. I told you it's the Benson Bobcat Power Hour now. We haven't even got to
clever and segue.
We haven't got to the defensive stats yet.
Sorry.
But we just did with Harley Van Warmer leading the team with 2 tackles for losses again.
He's having a year this year.
The AIA needs to make the top stats. They need to include tackles for losses in that one. Yep. Those are more impactful than tackles.
That's why when you watch NFL games, that's tackles for loss.
Hurries, pressures.
Yeah.
They don't have hurries in their pressures, but if they did, Harley Van Warmer always with double-digit tackles for losses.
On that note, because they talk about it in the NFL, Seattle last week when we got drubbed by the Niners, we had pressure on 49% of the plays, 0 sacks. So those numbers tell you, that's why they include those numbers. They tell you things that happened in that game. Seattle was all over it. We just never touched them.
Jennifer Rutherford in the chat says, go Pumas. Might have to segue to that one in a second. Colton Deskins from baseball season, freshman baseball, did some big things for the Benson Bobcats.
Yes. He was
up in Goodyear, Arizona, when he was a freshman. Yeah, 2 tackles for loss, and of course his older brother Deskins was a senior last year. Interception in this ball game. Tyson Kilpatrick, tackle for loss. Abraham Figueroa, a name we haven't mentioned yet, a tackle for loss in this ball game. Raleigh Evans, wide receiver extraordinaire, 1 interception. And Jason Scouten, another name we haven't mentioned, a forced fumble in this ball game. Congratulations to all the JV players who got in there and got some shine. And we'll see you next year for sure.
Well, and that's every time anybody plays Santa Rita. Some of the JV kids get a lot of love and all that. So it's good for them to get that development in an actual game.
Karen Race in the chat says, that's our boy. Amir Contapai in the chat says,
Amir,
thanks for the donation, Dave. What happened between you and Amir? Was there something?
Nothing.
You contributed to a local charity?
Yes, that's exactly what I did. I contributed to Bang Bang Wanker Gang for $20. That's what I did to make sure they felt good about themselves.
Yeah, we'll get over to the Bisbee Pumas now, as it seems like everyone in the chat wants to hear what the Pumas did. 6-1, 4-0 in sections with that win. 47-20 against Palo Verde. They take on Tanca Verde this week in what is going to be senior night for the Bisbee Pumas. Sebastian Lopez had his best game throwing of the season, and it's not even close. 19 of 26, 371 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Also contributed 47 rushing yards. Bryson Meyer had 10 carries for 90 yards, 2 touchdowns, a receiving touchdown. Hunter,
double digits. He had double digits
right
on this year.
Hunter Wright. This goes back to what I've been saying all year, that the wide receiver play in Cochise County just miles better than it was last year. Everyone taking trips out of tips from Malachi Keller.
Last year.
Hunter Wright, 7 catches, 160 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
Oh, that's what we call taking scalps. He took Palo Verde's scalps home with him, the Hunter.
Jackson Alvarez, 6 catches for 110 yards out of the running back position. That's going to get us over to our defensive stats, led by Jackson Alvarez, who had 13 tackles in the ball game.
Oh, wow.
Followed by Fabian Hernandez, 12 tackles, 2 in the backfield. Spencer Anthony.
No sacks for Fabian?
12 tackles, 3 in the backfield, and 2 sacks for tackling fuel. Spencer Anthony.
Like last year, again, he was very Bobby Wagner-y, a lot of tackles, but they were all 2-3 yards downfield. Spencer Anthony is now breaking that line.
Oh, he is playing so fast. He's playing so fast.
So, yes, one last time. This Friday, Lopez, Coronado, Emilio Diaz-Lopez. Let's go, Pumas.
I'm glad you mentioned Emilio Diaz-Lopez because he did have a sack and a tackle in the backfield in this game. Miles Schuler had a sack, and Cam Anderson, cornerback extraordinaire for the Bisbee Pumas, 12 tackles. Not done. 2 interceptions in this game as well. What a game for the Bisbee Pumas.
Well, and it's something that I talked to him about all that. Life is uncertain. You don't know what's going to happen in life. And so every year that we get to do this, we have the privilege of doing this, might be the last year. We don't know that. So there is a chance that this is the last time that I get to sit in our booth in Bisbee, Arizona. So just so you all know, I'm very excited for the last home game for Bryson Meyer, Sebastian Lopez, Michael Coronado, Emilio Diaz-Lopez. Very excited to be there. See you Friday, boys. Can't wait.
Well, that's going to transition
By the way,
us over to the...
I know that Tombstone and Benson and Wilcox need Tanca Verde to beat you. We just watched Tanca Verde play.
That's going to take us over to the Tombstone Yellow Jackets. Tombstone, after an early season slip-up a couple times, 4-3 on the season, 2-2, big wins over Tanca Verde and now Catalina, 38-0. They host Santa Rita, so another win for the Tombstone Yellow Jackets is going to push their fit record to 5-3 and 3-2 in sections. Again, Tombstone could control their own destiny should Bisbee lose this weekend. So keep playing tough, boys. Oh, I didn't even mention any of these rankings. That's okay. We'll write them down.
But that's exactly it. Again, if Bisbee loses to Tanca Verde, Tombstone now controls their own destiny. And then Benson and Wilcox just get that much bigger. So everybody's going to be watching the Bisbee game on Friday.
Tombstone would control their own destiny, but the winner of Benson Wilcox really controls their own destiny in that one, unless they slip up. They both played. Did Benson play Tanca Verde?
They all have cupcakes in the last week.
Either which way, here we go. Back to the Tombstone Yellow Jackets. DJ Elias, 7 of 17 for 117 yards.
Superstar.
A throwing and a rushing touchdown. Jemiah Wallace, 2 touchdowns in this game. Colby Jones, a touchdown. Jabari Thomas, 2 touchdowns, one offensively.
Jones had 2 touchdowns?
Yeah. One offensively and one touchdown. Okay. And one defensively, as Jabari Thomas, not only wide receiver extraordinaire, defensive back extraordinaire, returned an interception for a touchdown for the Yellow Jackets. Aiden Luna led the team with 7 tackles. Caden Bidgood had 5 tackles, 1 in the backfield and a sack, and then Logan Hansen also contributing a sack for the Tombstone Yellow Jackets. And again, Santa Rita, this is going to be a good get-right game. If you got something to work on it, boys.
Oh, I'm like, well, I get you have a goal when you're playing Santa Rita. Benson beat them 63-0. You need to beat him 64-0.
I guess. Well, let's go over, Dave.
How bad can you beat Santa Rita is like the thing. And,
I completely forgot to update the rankings. We did the Wilcox rankings. Everyone knows Wilcox is up at number 11 after being 22. The Bisbee Pumas, who were number 6 last week, fall to number 7. Good job winning, boys. That's your reward for winning. The Tombstone Yellow Jackets jumped from 25 to 19, and all of a sudden they're in there. Remember, that 2A has a playing game. I'm almost positive. And then also the Benson Bobcats fell from number 13 to 18. Okay.
This lack of love, all of our Cochise County teams, just take it to AIA and tell them to stick it in the fridge.
I don't know what you want. Benson Bobcats won 63 to nothing.
I know who they played, but what are they supposed to do? Beat them 100 to nothing? Like, you have to put in the JV kids. You have to mercy rule them. Like, you know what it is.
Well, folks, I said we're gonna have 2 offensive and 2 defensive players of the week. I know Dave knows 2 of them. Go ahead, Dave.
Landon Ward.
And defensively?
Todd Pacheco.
And our other 2 defensive players of the week are going to be, or our other defensive player of the week, Cam Anderson from the Bisbee Pumas.
Yes.
Not often we get a defensive back in here. 12 tackles, 2 interceptions. A year and a week.
Year.
And then also,
out of the blue, too. We did not see this coming.
You think it'd be Sebastian Lopez. I'm going to give it to Hunter Wright for the Bisbee Pumas.
4 tutters?
And 160 receiving yards. That's going to bring us.
Now, Lopez gets plenty of shine. Hunter Wright, 4 tutters as a wide receiver.
No kidding, right? Ryan Russell says, love that Tombstone hat. Fun fact, Tombstone was
Right?
the very first hat I got. I walked up to the prep table and I explained that we do a high school show. And this was last year when we first started football, so a long, long, long time ago. And they said, yeah, take a hat for sure, whichever one you want. And I picked that one because, like you said, that's an amazing hat.
Yeah, all of the hats. All of our hats are, except for...
Come on, Buena. We're waiting.
I saw a coach last week. I was like, we need a hat. You literally just served the man.
It takes time.
I just served the man. We need a better Buena hat. Okay, Benson stepped it up. Look at that sexy thing.
Oh, that was great. Oh, what a great hat.
That Benson hat is so nice.
And here's the thing,
They're
too.
all nice.
Benson could have been the first hat we got, but I promised I would take it back, and they were like, okay, whatever. But sometimes I
all right, well, just keep that.
hit my foot in the mouth.
We know what that is.
Yeah. Can you give me the St. David's hat as well?
Yes.
Here's spoiler, Dave. Every team in Cochise County won this week. The ratings stay the same.
We did during the show. You had to get a trivia question right.
Yeah. If you were just here. So there are no... sorry, number 4. I thought you knew these off the top of your head.
No.
You just handed me.
At this point, this is going to be Wilcox, right?
That's going to be the Wilcox Cowboys.
Yep.
Number 5 is going to be the Benson Bobcats. Those are our top 5
yep.
teams.
Hold on, let's see. Valley Union 1. So it's going to be Valley Union.
Yep. Number 6. Good job, Dave.
And then Tombstone.
Yep.
And then Marine.
Yep.
And even though 3 in a row because we don't like you, apparently, the Douglas Bulldogs.
And then ALA, who is also on a winning streak out there. We got to go.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll give us a hat if we just show up to the campus. Shoot. Anyway, so those are Paul's power rankings. No changes this week, folks. Ryan Russell says, sorry about the Buena hat.
Well, and again, programming update. There will be a team in St. David this Friday. There will. I will call Mr. Cool of himself
Could
and
be
make
me
sure.
by myself. You never know.
Yeah, could be busy. So next week we will be in Benson, Arizona as they host the Wilcox Cowboys. I am almost positive because everybody's dying to get their hands on the Bisbee Pumas, and the Bisbee Pumas belong to us. There will be a team in Tombstone, Arizona as well to cover the Tombstone Bisbee game.
Next week, yeah.
Yeah, next week. So Tombstone, you will be covered as well next week. Well, because I know there's other
Probably
people
this
that are
week as
dying
well.
to get their hands on the Bisbee Pumas.
Well, Buena's at home, so that opens up another broadcasting team, and that team likes to go to Tombstone.
Too,
so we'll see. We don't have any programming updates, just a lot of speculation. Breaking the fourth wall. Anyway, that's going to do it for our high school football coverage. Again, congratulations to all the Cochise County teams this week as they all won their football games if they weren't on a bye week, Marine and Buena. With that being said, Dave, you got some questions for me.
Yes. Actually, I have one very important question because I don't know the answers to these things, and I'm assuming that you do. So,
Sure.
3-question quizzy for Pizzy. Let's do this. We're going to go outside the box on this one. The U.S. men's national team has a new coach, Mauricio Pochettino. We play Mexico tonight at 7:30. Please tell the U.S. men's team fans why we should have hope for the future.
I don't know.
Mauricio
I'll be honest.
Pochettino going to be the guy that
shout
leads
out
us into the promised land.
Shout out Amar with Washworks Auto Spa because we talk soccer. I don't watch soccer as much as I did last, but he said he's a good coach, and he said he's got a great system that suits the United States. For me, I don't care how good the system is. It is all about getting a striker and just having
Besides Captain America.
He's not a striker. He's a wing player. You just have someone that's 30 yards out. You got to keep. It's like having a quarterback that throw the ball 70 yards. Always got to keep an eye on him. It's like having Steph Curry. It doesn't matter how far he's at. Always got to keep an eye on him. So if there's a striker that we can get that's 30 yards out, we had one, and I believe this wholeheartedly with Clinton Dempsey back in the day, and that's probably the U.S.'s only great striker that's ever happened. We have to find that first. I feel like in terms of the U.S. men's national team, we talk about them, like you talk about Pulisic, and I can't remember all the players off the top of my head, but we got stars everywhere, especially in that midfield. The defense is a little bit substandard at times. U.S. has been known for its goalkeeping since the 90s. We got Howard and Casey Keller way back in the day and all these guys, so the goalkeeping's there. What we need to do is find a striker to round out our team. We're holding possession over England's and France's and things like that. Like we just can't put the ball in the net.
Can't score.
Anyway,
so that's Mauricio's job, to get us to score the ball.
That's all he has to do.
But yeah,
he walked into a great situation, despite what some people might think.
The United States plays Mexico tonight. If you ever watch any soccer ever, you know that when the United States plays Mexico, it's fun. That is the rivalry.
Friendlies are not so friendly between these two teams.
Yeah. So we get to play a downtrodden Mexico team because they are not their strongest right now. So, all right. Well, let's talk about the person that I was very, very wrong about. Caleb Williams has arrived. Are you liking what you're seeing, or is this just because they're playing really bad teams? The combined record of their wins are 4-12. The Bears have won 4 games.
And they're very bad defenses.
The combined records of the teams that they played are 4-12. Is Caleb Williams for real, or are they just playing bad teams? They don't play a divisional game until week 11.
Nothing really, in my mind, has changed in terms of my opinions on Caleb Williams. I still think he's supremely talented. One thing you could see when watching these games is he is not running around looking for the big play anymore. He realized he's not as fast in the NFL as he was in the long gone Pac-12.
What gave it away, that 20-yard sack in week 1?
So in that regard, I'm going to say, jury's still out on Caleb Williams. It was great to see him finally put it together in the NFL. Looked like he got some humility about him, and especially on the field. Maybe off the field. I don't watch his press conferences or anything like that. But, yeah, I mean, the guy's talented. We'll see. He plays in the NFC North. He's going to have a lot of big games to show it. And, again, the jury's still out. Who do they play this week? Is it a division?
Chicago? They play a good team. I don't remember who
it doesn't matter. Anyway.
They'll play a divisional game till week 11.
But a good thing is he took care of business against the teams he needed to take care of business against.
Well, and get-right games for the rookie. You know what I mean? It was a lucky stretch for it to play all those bad teams and get right. So, yeah, I was just curious. Again, the Caleb Williams, like you said, jury's still out. That was about my consensus. And again, these things are always fluid, okay? Devontae Adams just got traded to the Jets. Does it mean anything at all?
None whatsoever. I'll tell you, personally, I'm a big fan of Aaron Rodgers in terms of views and things like that.
He throws a ball.
And he can articulate and all that stuff. But professionally, this guy's lost it. And he's to the point now where he wants to blame everyone for his problems. And, he threw Mike Williams under the bus saying he ran a wrong route. And we watched Patrick Mahomes win the Super Bowl last year. How many times he throws wide receivers under the bus? You know how many times the wide receivers...
He didn't have any.
That led the NFL in drops last year that couldn't run a right route to save their life. What he say? I got to be better. We just have to be better offensively. How hard is that to do? Especially in New York, where the media is going to just come at you and come at your throat as much as they can. I don't think it means too much. I'm not.
Aaron Rodgers is a football player. The personality has gotten to be unbearable.
I don't think the Jets are as good of a defense. No kidding, right? As good of a defense.
Reddick is on the trading block right now.
Oh, really?
They decided to finally give up on Hassan Reddick.
There you go.
They traded for a guy, did not pay him, just to trade him away.
Ryan Russell says Aaron spent too much time in a cave. Yeah, no kidding, right? Yeah, and it comes back down to when is the last time the New York Jets were successful? Talk about Bill Parcells, maybe. They had Chad Pennington a couple times. Vinny Testaverde was there that almost got into the playoffs.
Late 90s, brother.
Their only successful season was with Joe Namath, Joe Cool.
That was a fluke.
Who won a Super Bowl. That's it. This is who the Jets are.
They went to back-to-back AFC Championship games with the Sanchez.
To quote my favorite TV show, First Things First, this favorite sports show, there are serious teams and there are unserious teams, and you're not going to win serious titles with unserious teams. I made that part up. But the Dallas Cowboys, they're not a serious team. They're a show. They want to be entertainment. They're an entertainment brand as opposed to a football team. The New York Jets are a not serious team because they don't know what the heck they're doing from the top down.
If you didn't see, Jerry Jones actually fired the local radio host this morning for asking him about the struggles of the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, is that what that was?
Fired him
okay.
post-show.
Well,
He was asking Jerry Jones questions about the embarrassing Dallas Cowboys.
well, there you go. The unserious teams or unserious franchises. The Las Vegas Raiders, great stadium, unserious. They have no business being in the NFL because they don't know what the heck they're doing. Come on, stray bullets. Come on now.
The Raiders are the Santa Rita of the NFL.
Why do I always have to be the one to say, "Oh man, it's great the kids are getting out there and trying"?
I know. That's just
Anyway.
for us down in Cochise County, it's something
It's a very funny running joke that we have. It started off as accidentally doing it all the time. We're just accidentally be like, "Oh yeah, Santa Rita."
No. Honestly, that's how much we do. I mean, it's always kids. These are kids, and that's why we don't do Santa Rita games because we don't want to. Those kids deserve better than that. They deserve better than what they're being provided by their high school. How's that?
Dave, I'm going to blindside you real quick.
Please do.
You talk about all the time on our games that you have a crystal ball.
Yes.
And that you can see the future.
Yes, that's correct.
I want you to be Dave Stradamus right now. New segment. Just made it up off the top of my head 10 seconds ago. Dave Stradamus. Anything you want in the sports world. Look into your crystal ball. It could be Cochise County. It could be NFL. Look into your crystal ball and give us your 100% slam dunk can't miss prediction.
Boy,
I will continue to keep talking until you can rack the thoughts around your head. Folks, thank you for joining us on Cool FM Live. We love doing this. Thank you for being super interactive in the chat. Don't forget to come back next week where we're going to give away. We got a lot more hats to go and maybe some polos.
I got one for you.
Dave Stradamus.
Okay. Bisbee is going to beat Tanque Verde on Friday. Bisbee's going to host a playoff game.
Just this week? You didn't have to go this far.
Bisbee's going to win that playoff game.
Ooh.
And I said it before last week, and again, Bisbee, Arizona is not a sports town. If you know Bisbee, Arizona, they don't care.
Warren is.
As I was walking through Bisbee, Arizona on last Thursday night and last Saturday night, and I have non-sports people coming up to me going, "What's going on with the Bisbee Pumas? There is something weird going on in Bisbee, Arizona right now. We're not supposed to be good at football. We're not that big." And the Bisbee Pumas are going to finish this season 9-1. They're going to host a playoff game, and they're going to win it.
Ooh, music to my ears.
So there's your Dave Stradamus right there.
There's Dave Stradamus. So it's only a week thing.
Playoff game, they're going to win it.
So his weekly prediction was, again, folks, I just sprung this on everybody. That is our weekly prediction where the Bisbee Pumas will beat the Tanque Verde Hawks this weekend.
We saw Tanque Verde. Don't even make the trip.
Ryan Russell says draft
even though they do have a running back, I actually messaged Carlos Lopez last night. I'm like, if you didn't watch that tape, brother, number 24, it's all you got to worry about.
That's about it, right? Well,
they do have a running back.
We're going to have to work that into our high school segment. We'll see. We'll have to work that in somewhere because now we're going to get back-to-back Daves. After Dave Stradamus, Dave turns back into a mean old man yelling at the skies as he's ranting, he's raving. Do I need a disclaimer?
Yes.
Just a reminder, folks, that the thoughts and opinions of Dave Davies do not necessarily reflect that of Synergy Home Care, Paul Quarter, the Sierra Vista Golf Center, Cool FM Live, or Texas Roadhouse. With that being said, he's ranting, he's raving. That's what we call Dave, and it's time for Dave's diatribe. Dave, take it away.
This is something that whether you're a sports person or you're a regular, like anybody, is going to have some story. I'm going to touch a nerve with this word right now because we've all seen it, we've all experienced it. Nepotism. Nepotism is a very real thing. We see it in all facets of life. You see people get jobs that they don't deserve. You see people get things in life that they don't deserve because they're related to a certain person. Sometimes nepotism can be a good thing, like in the Trump family. Sometimes nepotism can be a bad thing, like in the Biden family. But nepotism. That being said, my least favorite athlete in the world insisted that the Los Angeles Lakers draft Bronny James. Bronny James has played 3 games in the preseason right now. Bronny James is 1 for 11 with 2 points. The kid can't play basketball. The kid, he doesn't. We talked about Caleb Williams in week 1 as a rookie quarterback. Caleb Williams is eventually going to figure it out. Bronny James never will. Bronny James does not belong in the NBA. And for the Los Angeles Lakers to put so much stock in that 39-year-old prima donna, by the way, the unnamed athlete that's going to prison is LeBron James. LeBron James is going to go to prison for what took place in Hollywood, California. Bronny James is now an NBA player, and he gets to play NBA games. It's like a Make-A-Wish Foundation. Like, what do you want to do? I want to play an NBA game. So Bronny James, who has no business even buying tickets to a Lakers game, gets to suit up with the old man and go try to play basketball. But it turns out he can't play basketball. The 2 points that he has in these 3 games might be the only 2 he scores. Like, we may not ever see him in a professional game because the kid doesn't belong. LeBron, see you, LeBron. I'll see you later. That's all I have to say today. Nepotism. It leads you to things like Bronny James.
Devil's advocate on that one is, who else are you going to pick in the second round? Who's going to be good at basketball?
You could have picked me. I can shoot better. I can shoot better than Bronny. Bronny James, I challenge you right now. Come down here. We'll stand at the top of the key. Best out of 5 wins. I bet you lose. I won't even warm up.
Ryan Russell
won't even warm up.
in the chat says Dave is right, is laughing at all of your comments, but my goodness, what a diatribe. Only fitting to end one of our better shows on that diatribe for sure. The energy was here. Congratulations, Dave, for bringing it. But with that being said, I think that's going to do it for us here at the Sierra Vista Golf Center. Thank you for joining us on Paul and Dave's Cochise County Sports Show, brought to you by Synergy Home Care. Again, folks, we call them family caregivers. 1 in 5 Americans are a family caregiver. If you take care of somebody that you love, you should be getting paid for that. You can call Synergy Home Care right now at 520-685-1035 to see how that could happen.
Nepotism. Sometimes it's a good thing. My daughter works for Synergy Home Care now.
I didn't want to say
How's
that.
she doing?
How's she doing? Rachel's doing amazing at
Because
Synergy
I'm a
Home
better
Care
father
right now.
than LeBron James is. Before I go push that stop button on that microphone over there, I would once again want to thank Texas Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
I will be there the next couple nights. Again, Kids Night is on Monday. If you bring your kids in, they have a meal. They get a free meal the next time. We show movies. It's a blast. We also have a Dine to Donate program. We're the best restaurant in town. Do I need to tell you that? Come see me over at Texas Roadhouse. Thank you for joining us today. I got 9 holes to play.
Well, going back to the Rachel thing, the good thing that happened, it's not nepotism because I've known your daughters their whole lives, and I know exactly who the people and the workers they are. So that's why Rachel got fired on her own or hired on her own merits. Thank you again to the Sierra Vista Golf Center. Those sweet hats that we just decided to give away because it'd be selfish of us to keep all those hats. Let me tell you, Dave. But yeah, so there are a lot of good things happening. Again, open to the public now, trying to shed that old school country club feel. Everybody and their mother coming to play here. Get in while you still can.
See you in Bisbee on Friday.
All right, see, that's going to do it for us. Thank you for joining us on Cool FM Live. Again, for Dave Davies, I'm Paul Corder, and we will see you Friday in Bisbee, Arizona.